Are you guys ready for me? It looks like you guys aren't ready. Are you guys ready? All right.
To prepare to
Excuse me. I thought this was, I'm as proud of this win as any, because we knew Carolina, how they come out, ready to fight and compete, and I thought they played at a really high level. And to be able to withstand that and then get back to our identity of playing defense down the stretch, I think that's really the story. 27 second half points. Davis was hitting some incredible shots. And again, you have to tip your hat and give him credit. And just, I thought we weathered the storm. And, a lot of guys made winning plays, but for me, each game this year, somebody else has stepped up, and it's been, like, we have a team where all 11 scholarship players that we've recruited to play have won us games in different moments. And so for Caleb, he doesn't play last game, and he came back with a big-time attitude, really attacked practice the last couple days, and their pressure was bothering us. And because of how he responded in practice, I just had a lot of confidence to put him in. And for him to be ready, I think that just speaks volumes about who he is as a person, as a competitor. And then Malik, I wish I had his spirit, to be off this entire time and to come out and hit those threes and make those plays. We have a versatile team, so certain games are gonna just be somebody's number, maybe more than others. I thought this game really fit Malik and then Caleb with what he did. But incredibly proud, 19 wins in conference, 28 overall. We have a lot we want to do still, but to cap off the regular season this way, really proud of our team.
John, on that note, and sort of about the depth, to play the way you guys did with Cooper on the bench.
Yeah.
I mean, obviously, there's not a perception that you're a one-player team or any of that, but to play that way without him had to be good for you to see as a coach and maybe build some confidence that in that situation, again, you guys would be okay.
Yeah, that's happened before to us, at Louisville in particular. And we really stepped up in that moment. I thought tonight we did a good job. I thought we ran out a little bit of gas into the first half there without Cooper. And, I'm always going to play him. I'm not, if he's out for that period of time, we were buying as much time as possible, and we have good confidence with the guys that we're in. But, we have to build that trust where he can't pick up a charge. We got to make sure he only has 2 fouls going into half. But I thought our guys did a good job. Mason stepping in, Isaiah. And then I thought Sion, Khan, and Tyrese the whole night were just studs. I thought they just had a great look about them the whole way.
John,
Coach,
you mentioned with Malik, you're getting him back.
Right.
There's a big picture piece of that, of what it means going forward. But even for this game, have him respond the way he did, did you have a good feel for how he might handle his first action back in this environment and what he could do for you tonight?
Well, it's ironic. I mean, it's not a coincidence. I mean, it is a coincidence. I mean, the first game he came back was against them also, and he responded really well that time. It's a different injury, obviously, but we've been very cautious with him. So he's just been really working pretty hard. He hasn't practiced. The hardest thing with his injury is to get contact, and so he just got contact the last couple of days. But Malik's a gamer. He has this special, to shoot those threes in that moment after being off. The one thing with being off this amount of time, he has shot a ton. Like, he's shooting more than he ever has. And now he's kicking Justin Robinson's ass in shooting games. Like before, J-Rob was probably getting him a little bit. And so I'm proud of the work he's done with J-Rob to have the confidence to shoot those shots.
Coach, in your presser earlier this week, you talked about the offense needing bits of randomness to succeed. You have a lot of randomness with one of your coaches leaving for Miami. You get Cooper in foul trouble. You have a lot of different things going on in this game in a already tough environment. How important was this game to be able to handle all that but still come out with a win?
Yeah, I mean, it's not smooth sailing, going forward. And I thought tonight was a good example. When you mentioned all those things, that's the obstacle's the way for us. We've embraced that. We've talked about it very early on, and just a spirit the competitiveness. I thought we had great looks in the second half of just guys talking to one another. And the first time out I called in the second half, they just they weren't fighting anything I was talking about. I thought it was really about getting back to doing. We always talk about just doing your job in those moments, and having that trust. And our guys came back, and we got stops right away. Our offense wasn't there, and then we came back and we were able to put both together.
You said you're always going to play Cooper. You start him in the second half
Yeah.
with 3 fouls. What did you tell him about managing that, and how much trust do you have in a freshman to handle
Yeah.
that situation?
I think the tough part is, especially after the charge, you worry about him playing really hesitant and not being himself even with 3 fouls. And so I just told him to be aggressive, just not to be, for a lack of a better term, I said handsy. You can't play with your hands, you have to play with your body. And for him to get 4 blocks, while having the 3 fouls and doing a great job showing his hands was big time. And, he was ready to play. He just was, I think he wanted it almost too much. And so great learning experience for him. My thing is, once he picks up the first, we got to make sure he doesn't pick up the second. Then once you have the second, we can't pick up the third. I think that's the biggest thing.
John, what did you see from Caleb Foster that put him in there in a pretty big spot in the second half after the DNP last game and the first half?
Well, Caleb, it was his response to that. I would say the majority of the time, if not all the time, guys can pout, quit, make an excuse, be pissed at me. Oh, I'm sure he's pissed at me. That's fine. That's good. I'm all for that. But his attitude was like he just had such a competitiveness about him the last couple of days. And so I thought as we got into the game, I thought we were missing what he had in tonight's game, just with the ball handling, the speed on their end, and to be ready is a credit to him and the coaches, and just he's got amazing character to do that.
I think you talked earlier this week about, getting ready for the tournaments that are coming up and treating this kind of like a tournament game. It felt like, with 3 fouls on Cooper early and to get down after you guys have been blowing everybody out, like it felt almost like a tournament game, or kind of the experiences you guys might see it in the tournament setting. Was that good for your team to kind of go through that?
I thought it was incredible to go through. And I even said that at halftime to our team. That was the first thing I said was, this is great. And I think that's the first time, because, I've been taught very early on in my playing career here, just we're always preaching inflection points in the game, and end of half is one of them. I know that's the first time I've ever been positive, after a half, closing it where, we were up 15 and they cut it to 1. But I knew we needed it. It was the best thing for us. And even the start of the second half to, we went down 7. Yeah, to go down 7 and to claw our way back. It was a real, you test your trust in those moments with each other, and we showed we have great trust in that situation.
Coach, I know you complimented Tyrese Proctor with 16 points already, but how important was maybe his veteran presence in a game like this, where it was back and forth and you really needed him to rally?
Yeah, Tyrese, we have him guard the best perimeter player. Every game we expect him to score. We expect him to create. And the other thing with Tyrese is he's been out too. So this is just his second game back, and he was really good for us. And I thought he look, him kind of seeing on all 16, 17, and 16, but I thought it was timely baskets that he had, which was key.
John, with Auburn losing today, there's a good chance you will go into the ACC tournament as the #1 team in the country. Is that something that matters to this team at all, or?
I don't think so. We haven't talked about one time. We have talked about being #1 when this thing is all said and done, but just my luck to be #1, going into postseason when it really doesn't matter. But no, we've really been about finishing what's right in front of us, doing our best in the moment. And then if we do that by the end, we want to be one when it's all said and done.
With that in mind, how much would it matter to you? There's going to be a decision made on Cooper Flag, Janai Broom for Player of the Year if that Cooper gets that designation.
Well, look, I think it's I have a feeling we're gonna go into this process. I feel we have so many guys this year who are deserving of postseason awards, whether it be Defensive Player of the Year, ACC National Player of the Year. Look, I mean, for me, it's Cooper. I think with what he's done, I don't, and that's not knocking anybody. I mean, we played Broom. He's a great player. But Cooper, the way he impacts every aspect of the game, I don't think we've seen in college, for a long time. And that's what he does. He impacts in every way. And tonight's a good example. 15-9-6, and he played, and he missed 10 minutes of the first half. So, but again, that's not what Cooper plays for. That's not what we play for. But obviously, recognition you always appreciate it is good. But we'll keep controlling what we can. That's the best we can do.
Coach, congrats with the win. With 5 minutes left in the game, Cooper had a laser pass to Khan for 3, and then a wild block right after. You showing a lot of emotion. How huge are these momentum plays that Cooper tends to make, where the other team can feel Cooper's will to win?
Did he pay you to say it was a laser pass? Are you sure? Or it was a laser. It was, no doubt. No, that's part of the gravity that he pulls, from defenders, and just a great heads-up play. I think it was Kaman that set the screen. I can't remember if it was Kaman or Malik, but no, it was an emotional game. To come back with that fight and that emotion. So I don't know what I was doing after that play, but I know I was pretty fired up after that pass. The laser pass.
Sorry, Coach. Last one.
In
Go ahead.
terms of motivation for this game, I mean, secured you guys ACC regular season title, first time in a long time. Did you also employ what a loss would mean for North Carolina and the psychology of preparing for this game, potentially eliminating them from tournament contention, barring an ACC tourney run?
Didn't get into that. We did talk about how once you get into March, though, just the meaning of it can't be just about wanting it more, because the team you play wants it a lot, and so obviously you have to make sure your competitiveness is at a certain level, your fight's at a certain level, but it also comes down to, having great focus and, really not trying to do anything differently. And I thought we did a good job in the second half of that, but obviously we understood the value of this game for both teams. We didn't want to be the hunted. Sometimes when you talk about too much what a team is trying to do, you become the hunted, and the thing we've done a great job of is being the hunters. And we have to continue to do that when we're really here on out. It's in the season time if you lose, so we have to be ready to go. All right, thank you guys.